Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2024 half-year awards. We are going to celebrate the first 6 months of 2024 and wrestling. We're going to get into all of it. We're going to give out some hardware. We're going to give out the golden KJs, and we're going to see who you voted to be the winners tonight. We're going to get into all of it, folks. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to the award show.
Off the brace.
It's gonna be a cash.
Back down the hatches.
I'm feeling it.
Shut up, Anthony. No way.
Oh my God, he's gonna hit him with the brace.
I'm not okay.
Hits Drew with the brace.
Kiss. Cash it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Damian Priest coming out right now, trying to cash in.
Take that,
Drew with the brace.
Do it.
Hey, CM Punk's gonna be sitting there on the table just looking at him as he gets pinned.
They just fuck you right now, Nick. Punk standing over him.
Come on,
Priest
Damian.
Cashed in, choke slam.
Seven. Yes. I told you.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
You can have that.
Tony Khan dropped off Darby. Darby's got a gun. What the fuck? Tony Khan dropped off Darby. Tony Khan's been around the whole night. Darby's got a flamethrower. I quit. Holy shit. I can't do this. Darby's got a flamethrower. The fuck? Where's Batman? No rap.
Everybody's gonna be out here. Motherfucker! One, two. It's
Look who it is! Look who it is!
He just looks at him. I can tell what he's that rat-faced motherfucker.
Let's go! Look who it is! The ref!
No!
Ruin! I believe
his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Let's go.
Electric bill here.
Anthony knows.
Oh, I'm not going to spoil it. I'll let y'all see it.
I'm going to fight you. Just all over TV, all up in the videos. Tony Khan is the P. Diddy of pro wrestling. There, you want to compare Tony Khan? You want to sit down? Let's go!
Run, boss!
I don't have any words.
I am, but
I'm so sorry that I'm quiet because I don't have any.
No,
any
Oh!
But at the end of the day, our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you talking about the rest, you're able to put that for life with it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2024 first half year awards. I don't know how you want to say it, but the awards are live. That kind of encapsulates the first half of the year. Lots have happened. We've seen so much in wrestling. We've seen so much on this channel. We thank everyone out there who's joining us now. We thank everyone who's joined us all year long. But so much has happened. We've seen a deal with TKO go through, a merger. We've seen a Netflix deal get announced. We've seen WWE traveling the world. They're avoiding the U.S. more than Diddy at this point, speaking of Diddy, Nick. But, yeah.
Did he do it?
Right, they've been around. We saw AEW bring in Okada, Deonna, Ospreay. We've gotten new pay-per-views like Dynasty. TNA is back. Scott D'Amore is not. Sorry, Scott, but TNA is back. So much. Plus, we got all the indie shows, the independent companies that are killing it, and we have fun covering all these shows. There's a lot to get into tonight. We're going to give out some hardware. We're going to give out the golden KJs. And myself, I am KJ White, by the way. That is Big Nick. That is Ringsider Anthony. How you
that
guys?
Was the other way, so I'll switch around so you get it
There
right.
we go. Now, what do you guys? 2024 been a crazy year.
I was just going to answer your question real quick of what we should call these. I know we have the 4 lifeies. These are the midlifeies, the midlife crises and everything. These are the midlifeies. So, yeah, it's still crazy to me to still think. I know we were talking about this briefly before we went live. To me, I'm almost like there's like post WrestleMania 2024 and there's pre WrestleMania 2024. Like that, how on one hand feels like such a watershed, like that just time frame and everything now, because that's when you had the Papa Paul era really come into fruition. You had all of these big and new announcements coming out of WWE. It's kind of still hard to go back all the way to January and everything. It's been that crazy of a year.
I think it's been, I know it's been what, 6 months, 6.5 months, but it seems like we've gotten so much wrestling in 6 months that it seems like it's been like a whole year and a half. We've had so many things happen. We had big moments at WrestleMania. We had TNA return, back from being Impact Wrestling. Big things that have big signings, I should say, that's happened in AEW. It's been an all around crazy 6 months in professional wrestling.
Absolutely. I think as wrestling fans, we've been absolutely spoiled. I see that chat filling up, folks. Unlike most nights, we will click on some. We're not going to click on a lot. Remember, the voting is closed. It was on our community section, but these are your votes, your picks. But yeah, like I said, we've been spoiled as wrestling fans. We had Cody finally finish the story. Thankfully, The Rock decided to, write it for him finally. Finish writing.
And that's what I decided. We should just listen to the crybabies.
Just for the fans. But, speaking of The Rock, Ava's doing her thing on NXT. Based on her upper lip, she can always smell what The Rock is cooking. So, you see that face?
Hey.
You talked about signings. We got the crossovers, NXT, TNA. Joe Hendry having the biggest musical crossover since Jeff Jarrett had with My Baby Tonight, I think. Shout out Jeff Jarrett, Road Dogg on that one. But we got Wyatt Six return, huge moment. We got Nikki Cross popping up every week, becoming the second creepiest woman in all of wrestling. Chris Jericho still takes the award for creepiest, but Nikki Cross right up there has first.
But we've even seen like Jacob Fatu showing up in WWE, stuff that we never thought would have happened. Vince McMahon out of WWE. Never thought it would have happened. It was needed, but just crazy moment after crazy moment and the second you think you've caught in your breath on this roller coaster that is 2024 in wrestling, you're in for another fucking loop-de-loop.
Right. You speak of Vince McMahon gone. You had Scott D'Amore gone from TNA. It was like it was back-to-back wrestling moments and backstage, dysfunction happening this year.
No, it's insane. Like in the behind the scenes stuff has been just as interesting as the on-screen stuff, sometimes more than that. We've been everywhere. Like if we look through, we just kind of joked about them, but like Chris Jericho brings in the learning tree. It's really the only tree in the world that actually needs an NDA for tree huggers to give it a hug. The only
Greenpeace has to sign an NDA before they can fucking pick it in front of it and everything and try and save it.
The only tree in the world that have people praying for forest fires. So good job, Jericho, on that one. We saw TK at the NFL draft with the infamous neck brace from his Meltzer driver. I think the only person that didn't know he had a neck brace was TK himself. But the man sitting there stiffer than Dom during a live segment. So that was watch. I mean, again, crossing over, we saw Pat McAfee at the NFL draft. We saw Pat McAfee and friends at WrestleMania. There's so much. What else? Big news. One of the stories this week, Nick and Anthony, was Liv Morgan. I don't know how this became a story, but for those who don't know out there, Liv Morgan actually became news because she bought a T-shirt, a tank top, that gave the illusion of being a wet T-shirt, proving that she is 100% blonde. So that's good for her to buy that one because someone tricked her into it.
Fair enough. I had no idea on that. I was going to segue it into what you were saying about there, that I think that's been the biggest statement or a huge statement when it comes to wrestling in 2024 of how much it's expanded outside of pro wrestling. Like, we have our award show tonight. We have Paul Walter Hauser out there receiving, what was it, an Emmy, an Academy Award, some fucking golden statue. That still doesn't hold water to the, golden KJ, but is out there still mentioning about being on independent shows and everything like that. Like, we're having, even like you said, as much as we kind of fruited and laughed at it, and they kind of did too, if you have pro wrestling mentioned at the NFL draft, pro wrestling's mentioned over here, pro wrestling's relevant over there. That's the crazy thing. One of the biggest blockbuster movies, I still fucked it up, movies of 2024 was The Iron Claw, which is a pro wrestling movie.
Yeah, very good point. We also had.
I think it's just been stuff after stuff after stuff this year, and at some point you couldn't even keep up because the news and stuff was coming out so quickly. It's just, I feel like it's been an amazing 6 months of professional wrestling.
Unbelievable. I mean, we even had TK trying to fix his booking. He's been criticized for booking the women's division so poorly. In response, he had the Young Bucks go out there dressed like tampons. That helped. Early predictions, though, I think, as we're probably wrapping up this preamble. Do you think that the first 2024, the first half of 2024 is going to be better or worse than the second half of 2024? Not saying that this is bad, but I think that we're still in setup for even more huge moments the rest of this year.
I think we've only just begun. Right.
I'm with KJ. I think we've only just begun. And one thing that was really kind of brought up today is that there's big things in store for Slammiversary. I think we're just touching the surface.
Yeah, we've seen so much. I mean, SummerSlam's coming. They're adding new pay-per-views as far as WWE goes. AEW's got All In. We're seeing wrestlers return. I mean, more wrestlers returning and joining, like MJF and Ospreay, what they were able to do last night. I think we're in for a lot of it. We even had DMD return, and we're happy. T's and P's with Britt Baker. She had the mini strokes. So we're glad that she's okay. Ironically, also what she calls giving the Hawk 2E to Adam Cole mini strokes. But beyond that, folks, it's been a crazy 2024. We appreciate everyone for being here, and we are going to get to our first award of the night. Lots to get into as far as the categories. You give us your 2 cents, your opinions. Did the fans get it right? Did the fans get it wrong? We will find out. But the first award is going to be best storyline of the first half of 2024. Let's go. And the winner is.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go. Drew McIntyre
Oh.
and CM Punk, from my point of view, undebatable.
Undeniable.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a pretty solid choice and everything like that. I was going through the nominees. I was like, it's probably between that one and the Bloodline, because those are the two that are really still. I mean, Liz Revenge Tour is still going, but it kind of just started. The other two are like fucking foundations right now. Dare I say pillars? But yes.
Yeah, I think this is easily the clear-cut winner here. When a storyline makes me want CM Punk to win, there's something wrong, right? So
And you defended against this man in court.
Right, exactly. So when the storyline is making me like CM Punk, that means they're doing something right, and I think this is easily the obvious winner here.
That's it. I mean, again, they haven't even gotten the ring yet. They haven't even got to that point. This is true storytelling, and you have to give them credit. The only one that I see it on being mentioned by Boston, we just kind of tied into the Bloodline, I guess. I don't know. Ask the fans. They voted. Leave me alone.
Wait, what did he say?
Cody.
I saw the learning tree, but no, I was gonna say, I think this storyline, especially when it comes to us and everything, has been the best arguments, the best back and forth, the best reactions, and everything like that. This has had us more almost even than the Bloodline storyline, all due respects and everything like that, on the edge of our seats of us at each other's throats over this whole storyline.
Facts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and Rock, all that was great. And I do agree that it could be like that winner too, but this one for me, only because WWE somehow has made me like CM Punk, I can't vote against it, right?
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to award number 2.
Yeah, we've got the biggest pop in the room. How you doing? But especially in 2024, like we've talked about, it's been huge moments. It's been huge reactions, from stuff like Jacob Fatu showing up to everything that literally you could take that whole Roman Cody match and there's multiple pops within that, or even WrestleMania 40 as a whole here. So it's been Pop City up here in 2024. Pause on that, but let's get to the nominees, sir. And the winner is, and I'll first say though that is a murderer's row of a category. I feel right there looking at that. But so the winner is voted on by the fans. It is Cody Rhodes finishing the story at WrestleMania 40. Like I was even saying before, that match had pop upon pop upon pop. That shit was popping like popcorn. But it's crazy how even that whole category was all still felt recent and all still felt huge. Like it's a wealth of riches. But yeah, this was childhood nostalgia paid off and wrapped up into a nice, neat little bow here.
It should have been Naomi.
No,
just kidding. No, I think this was perfect. Like Nick said, it was pop after pop after pop at WrestleMania in this match, and him winning at the end was the icing on the cake. So yeah, well deserved here.
I personally thought, I mean, again, I was surprised you didn't say Jordan Grace, but I personally thought that Paul Heyman's moment when he finally says, "You are not my tribal chief," was epic. But Cody had the advantage of WrestleMania 40, Rock, Cena,
2 years of build.
2 years of build and like 7 people. There was pops everywhere. We were popping like corn, my guy.
100%. You got the Undertaker and John Cena showing up and Dwayne showing up all in the same match. All we were missing was in Austin, and we would have fucking, blown the motherboards on everything.
Right. You even had Seth Rollins come out with the old Shield music, and people thought it was Dean Ambrose. So it was, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Let's move on to category number 3. Mr. Anthony.
Do I have the list?
I can go for it. The category is the best non-wrestler, whether it be, somebody like, Pat McAfee, or we even mentioned about, does he qualify as a wrestler what's his name there? Doogie Howser, that was out there getting the awards that wrestlers and Wrestler Revolver and everything like that. But yeah, we've said it of that this wrestling in 2024 has expanded much beyond, just the little niche pocket of people who watch it weekly.
Absolutely. Anthony, you want to say where the nominees are? Yeah, I'll let you do it. And the nominees.
Anthony?
Hold on. I'm trying to get to it.
And the winner is...
the winner is Paul Heyman.
The GOAT.
Has to be. The man went into the Hall of Fame this year of Christ. I feel like I've had my almost infamous Paul Heyman moment out here to where you can suck my... Yeah, and everything, but 100% from you even mentioned earlier of this man. You're not my tribal chief. This man has been the best. This man deserves an Emmy, a Golden KJ, an Oscar, a fucking Grammy, every sort of fucking award that has ever existed.
From his Hall of Fame speech all the way down to the excellent work with the Bloodline without Roman Reigns. Top tier non-wrestling talent this year.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's funny because the 4 nominees kind of came out of the same place, other than the exception of Nana. So there's some really good personalities out there, but I mean, we might as well call this the Paul Heyman Award at this point. I mean, we joked about it when we were.
Do we need to invoke that rule of if they win it so many times, it becomes their award? Right?
Maybe we'll have to. Maybe Paul Heyman will end up in the Hall of Fame, and we'll move on.
we need a Chibba Hall of Fame.
But yeah, there you go. So your non-wrestling personality will be Paul Heyman this so far. We'll see if he holds on for the rest of the year. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to one of the ones that cause a lot of debate. A lot of people can't decide, but the best pay-per-view in the first 6 months of 2024. And this is a funny one. And I know a certain person out there thinks, the pay-per-views are great. But there's been a lot of big events, a lot of big shows. And here are your nominees. How'd you like that song, MDB? It's better. Anyway, folks, your winner is WrestleMania 40. It's almost unfair. But congratulations to WrestleMania XL.
I don't think it's unfair in the sense of not every WrestleMania recently has fit that could win that easily. Like that's not a landslide thing. I feel in a while here, because I was almost thinking while I was watching that of like WrestleMania kind of reminds me of like 17, 18, like them big WrestleMania vibes, but it feels like it has its own energy of you had huge moments across 2 nights, stuff that we're still talking about. And like I said, to me, that was like a moment in time of that is there's pre-WWE WrestleMania 40 and there's post WWE WrestleMania 40. That it was a watershed moment.
I think for me, I'm gonna be biased here, but I would have gave it to Hard to Kill.
Oh, them fighting words. I mean, I guess you gotta stand on business. Well,
WrestleMania was great. WrestleMania was great. I do feel like night 2 overshadowed night 1, obviously. But I feel like the aura and the hype around Hard to Kill was really, really big. But you can't get bigger than WrestleMania. I get it. So WrestleMania is not a wrong choice. This is more of a biased opinion that
you make me speak out of pocket and say I could have picked say that like Revolution or Dynasty was a better pay-per-view than Hard to Kill.
I like Double or Nothing better than I like the Dynasty.
Fair enough.
That's what I love about this category, and it's going to come with a couple of the other categories. Some of them you can kind of nod and go, okay, that makes sense. Like Paul Heyman's Paul Heyman, but the pay-per-view one, it's all your preference, what you liked. But again, for the moments that it was, and all the people, and all the pops, and all the noise, and like you said, it was like a watershed moment. It was monumental. It was the beginning, the official beginning of the Papa Paul era, where everybody started talking about it. And kind of like Dynasty was cool for its historic moments. Hard to Kill was amazing for its historic moments. That's the year we're having in wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. And especially I think it timed in perfectly of this being in Philadelphia, this being WrestleMania 40. Like it's a nice little even number, so it works nice on the brain and everything like that. So I feel like this all has lined up perfectly simpatico a bit here. But yeah, to me, WrestleMania 40, I know there's a debate, I think, as to what would be number 2, but WrestleMania 40 to me walks away with this.
Yeah, and more than just the Cody moment. I think the pay-per-view as a whole, and like the Drew,
the cash in, Christ,
the crash in at the bash-in. Right. So that's it. That's your pay-per-view so far. We'll see if anything can top it. I hope something does. If SummerSlam or All In or all the above are better, I'm thrilled.
100%. SummerSlam, my guy right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And then on to the next.
Up next, we have the best weekly show, and this is where I get to remind everybody we are the Wrestling for Life Network. We do this for anything and everything when it comes to pro wrestling. Often imitated, never replicated. We're here covering anything and everything. So if there is a channel that is out there and able to speak on this, we watch everything. Can come hell or high water live, absolutely. So we've got the best weekly show as voted on by our viewers of how everything's playing out in wrestling here. So here are the nominees. And so the winner, and I do feel like there is a little bit of recency bias with this, I will say, of the winner of this award is Monday Night Raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. But I do think that there is a little bit of recency bias with this because recently we've gotten the Wyatt Six. Raw's been really cool and been able to work them 3 hours. Now, I feel like going into, the WrestleManias and so on, SmackDown was a heavy, strong favorite, I feel. But I will debate this, but the winner is Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say the same thing. I felt like this was more of SmackDown. I think SmackDown really killed it from January to maybe the beginning of May. I think Raw just kind of started to turn around. So definitely would have gave
But it
this.
is cooking though. No,
It's cooking now,
let's
yeah.
still keep it a buck. It is cooking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe one of the saving graces is, going into Mania season, you had a lot of crossover. Again, just so folks know, like we had for a lot of these categories, well over a couple hundred, into a few hundred votes, like where people use cage match votes. We had some more, than some of the matches that they get votes on. So let's be real. But yeah, Raw, I mean, it's not the 3-hour slog that it used to be, and that's maybe
not at all. No,
maybe because it's come the furthest. That's where people are like, "Well, it's really good."
And that's valid. Like, I don't want to fully fucking slag on it or whatever or anything like that, because that's the thing is, I think, like you said, KJ, thereof, it's had the most. It's evolved. It's the fucking Magikarp to Gyarados of fucking wrestling shows of it. It kind of went from shite to fucking I'm a mess with you like a motherfucker out here. Because now, literally, we're struggling to take pauses on the stream because we might miss some cool shit that might happen.
Right? No, and that's the thing.
That's a 3-hour show too. That's the one that everyone's like, cut it down to 2 hours. Oh, well, it won't work really until it gets to Netflix. Motherfucker, it's working now.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be better when it gets to Netflix in the sense of maybe it won't be a full 3 hours, but we will see.
I don't mind a 3.
As long as it's an entertaining 3. Just for so long, it was such a hard 3 hours. And listen, I know a lot of people out there are fans of AEW or TNA. TNA's got a good weekly show. Don't want to discredit that. AEW, to me, my honest opinion is 2024 has not been a good year for Dynamite. And last night could have been one of the best Dynamites we've had all year. And I feel like the back half of it, that's the issue. Is there's a lot of there's been a lot of shows that you don't really care a lot about what's going on.
You ain't saying that the one that's 6 months in, 7 months into the fucking year might be the best one because they've had so many that it's hard to compete with or anything. It's because the bar's that fucking low that all you got to do is be able to fucking skip and you can get over it. But yeah, no, it's been a rough year for Dynamite.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I've struggled to watch Dynamite, each and every week. So yeah, definitely agree there.
I have fun on Wednesdays. I do my best.
It has its moments so where it's really good, and it has its moments to where it's really shite.
Absolutely. And on that note, next category.
So our next category is the biggest botch. Wrestling is not a perfect sport, so they go out there and try to do their best each and every week, but sometimes we have those biggest botches. So here we go. The nominees are and the winner is not surprised. I'm not
a little surprised.
I'm not surprised because it seems like everybody and their mama hates on Jade Cargill when she makes one little mistake. So
This
I am
is a
not
visceral
surprised at all.
reaction. This isn't like the worst mistake. This is just a visceral reaction to a mistake.
True.
Yeah.
True.
The Damien spot was way bigger. What else was on that list? I mean, she slipped off the top rope. Like, we watched Punk do that twice in a row. You know, it's happened. It wasn't, like you said, she is a lightning rod for praise and criticism. The breaking the leg, like, how did that not win? The dude broke his leg. He broke his freaking leg.
Right. Like, if we comparing the two, right, that happened on the same pay-per-view. No one really talked about Damian Priest and the leg mess up. It was all about Jade Cargill. One slip up and she's the worst wrestler in the world. She needs to go to NXT. Maybe she never should have signed with WWE. Like, it was crazy bonkers for Jade Cargill.
Yeah, but Vikingo's a fucking actual good shout of shit. I've forgotten about this man, but
that botch is amazing. It makes me chuckle. Like, I get chubby chuckles with this one.
But I think that's the thing is there was other ones like Copeland, respectfully, Edge. Well, he's allegedly, according to Tony Khan, having the greatest run of his Hall of Fame career in AEW as the man broke his leg and everything. But it's again, I think with this one, it's much like we talked about with Jade's, just a lightning rod of you either love her or you hate her, and there is no in between.
No, absolutely. I've had worse botches by slipping on lint, so I don't even know.
I tripped twice going up to the car today. Like, shit. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But without belaboring the point any further, I think we'll move on to the next one, which will be a fun one. And actually something that's very near to this channel. It's something that we've prided ourselves on this channel for quite a long time, is the fact that we watch all the wrestling, and the fact that we watch a lot of independent wrestling here. I'm convinced we've covered more independent shows, watch-alongs, than any other channel. We might actually have some pretty cool news coming up about more wrestling watch-along coverage coming your way. We've always wanted to support independent wrestling. We love when we get to see the independent stars become TV stars and all the above. So this award is for your independent star of the first half of the year. And the golden KJ goes to Matt Cardona. Does he get the name face vote on this one?
I was thinking that because, like, I think he's been injured the majority of the year, or a good portion of the first 6 months. So I think his name value here.
I think that with me here is trying to go back of like he's been injured around WrestleMania time and everything that, which I know is still only like 2 months or so within the first half here. But to me, I think Mance Warner is the one that should have won this. Of this man's been the face of GCW. He's really become the guy, I think, on that independent scene. So I think that should have been him. I converted my my significant other, Mrs. Big Nick out there to becoming at least a GCW fan with watching, Mance and Effie go at it inside of what was supposed to be a cage, but was more of just 3 walls of fencing. But
Mike Santana's a good shout. Effie was in the consideration as well. Again, maybe sometimes we have to veto the fans, but arguably, even being injured, Matt Cardona still generates a lot of interest, a lot of notoriety,
He's still out there as the GCW GM, so he does still get interaction. He gets on camera, he gets heat that way and everything like that. Like he's gotten fucking Jimmy Lloyd over. If all due respect, not to shit on an independent wrestler, but if there was someone that was just like a generic default creator wrestler on any wrestling video game, it's Jimmy Lloyd. But so he's gotten this man over. Now I'm gonna get heat with Jimmy Lloyd, but yeah, the broski, but yeah.
Right.
Even Cardona being the GM in GCW, I think, is kind of might add some credence and some, clear water to him winning this award.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'll give him credit.
And before we kind of move on to the next category, I just kind of want to say that, like, because of this channel, I started watching indie wrestling. Before this channel, I was never watching it, but now I'm watching the House of Glories, the Wrestling Revolvers, and things of that sort. And I'm enjoying that more sometimes than watching some of the weekly television. So yeah, indie wrestling is definitely up there.
And you know what? I blame Damien for half of it. Yes, you, Damien, in the chat. Oh, he's like, he wanted us to nominate House of Glory for more awards. So yeah, shout out to.
Well, that's the thing is, I think there's been at times to where we were talking about like best bookers and everything. We're including the bookers from House of Glory and Wrestling Revolver and everything like that. Like that's the thing is 100%. We love finding the kind of secondary, tertiary promotions out there and everything.
We watch shit, but on to the next.
On to the next, and now I don't know if I can fully award this category, or if, Fox is gonna cut out every time I say holy and all of that, or if they just all of a sudden it goes to a black screen or anything like that. But 100% of at least USA will bleep out the holy and everything, so you can at least hear this. But we've had plenty of these holy shit moments, holy sugar on the iced tea moments in 2024. So here are the nominees. And KJ, I always like you, right? We're close, right? We're good. But you are not my tribal chief. It is the winner for the holy. At this point, I feel like we should just get blacked out here and everything like that. We're out here on Fox and everything. But surprisingly, this made it through the censors. But the holy moment of 2024 is Paul Heyman getting taken out by Bloodline 2.0, the Bloodline Wolfpack out here. You're not my tribal chief. And just getting destroyed with the Shield Powerbomb. And interesting, Jacob Fatu in the Roman Reigns spot on that Shield Powerbomb. But I'm just saying.
I was gracious enough to lend my presence and my face for that moment on the channel. I will really never forget that moment because of how Nick reacted throughout the entire time. But yeah, hands down, I think that was the biggest holy ass moment this year.
Undeniable. And the one thing I want to point out to everybody, if you guys don't catch it, how many clips that Paul Heyman's just in the background, like clips that don't even like, even with the slap, that you just see all these things going by in the noms, and there's Paul Heyman just like in the back, like Waldo in all these fucking clips. No, I mean, this was huge. Ironically, I take a SmackDown off, and this is what happens. What a huge moment. Can't argue with it. It was insane.
Oh, that's what I should have said. You're not my every night.
There you go. There you go. As we get the biggest pop.
And it's crazy to think, though, because Paul Heyman's out there next to Lucifer as the hardest person to turn babyface, I feel. So it's crazy that they've managed to turn Roman Reigns babyface without him being on TV. And we get, Paul Heyman getting, an insane moment, a moment that will live in Madison Square Garden history.
Lord.
With all of that.
Absolutely. I mean, undeniable. It really is huge. And yeah, that's it. Like, I mean, there really isn't much else we can say. It's undeniably the most insane thing.
Safed even saying that he was there at MSG when Paul said it, so he was part of the the holy
right.
Like KJ said, this is hard to argue. Like, this is literally the moment. And
imagine if Fox though went to black during all of this.
You imagine
censoring. Like, you would have people breaking monitors and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The stream would have ended then because I would have just broken everything. We're not going to be here for a couple of days because
Dude,
I need
you were mad enough about Dom and Rhea. That's awesome. But let's break into the next category.
Our next category is Breakout Star, and we had so many breakout stars this year in whatever company you're watching at this moment. So I'm excited for this category, and here are the nominees.
I can't win, yeah, I can't win. I can't win, yeah, I can't win. I can't win, yeah, I can't win. Can't no one stop me, yeah, bring it in. I can't win, yeah, I can't win. Top down, faded windows tinted. Push it with it, push it to the limit. Top down, faded windows tinted. Push it with it, push it to the limit. Push it with it, push it. Winning so much that they sing wrong. Never gonna lose, that's my theme song. I'm just a Kill Billy Jean zone. Back to reality, ain't no one bad as me. See, they be doubting, but I keep on actually pushing, not giving up. That's how I give it up. Pushing, not giving up. That's how I give it up. I can't win, yeah, I can't win. Can't no one stop me, yeah, bring it in. I can't win, yeah, I can't win.
And the winner is Braun Breaker. All right, I like that choice. I think he's had a pretty solid 6 months.
I didn't know I was gonna have. This guy has 100. I've sat there and said it multiple times, and I think that they're starting to get with it of doing this man up to where they're showing the velocity that he runs the ropes and everything like that. Like, they're 100% getting invested in him. Of like, it was a holy moment for me of this man lost clean to Sami Zayn in Clash. There was it. So that's 100% of this guy's over like Rover and is ready, willing, and able to be a star on this main roster here.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I think there's valid arguments for a lot of people on this list, a few people that aren't on this list. You know, I think this was a big breakout for Jordan Grace, the pop she got at Rumble, showing up at NXT. Joe, I think, came on a little bit later, like post-Mania. Felt like Joe really cooked. So he's really going to be in contention at the end of 2024 for Breakout Star. You know, he could easily bypass Braun Breaker depending on where he goes. Braun's been a force to be reckoned with. I wonder a little bit, just again, when we're getting votes from the general public, the WWE is very noticeable and
that's why we're getting contestants already. Jordan Grace, we're getting contestants for Joe Hendry, all of that. MDB saying I legit been looking forward to Raw for Braun Breaker almost exclusively. So again, it's a well split out crop of up and coming talent here.
Yeah. If I had to give it to another person, I think I would give it to Jordan Grace, because she kicked off the year with Hard to Kill and winning the championship, and then 2 weeks later showing up at the Royal Rumble, right? And then it was the rumors and speculations until she showed up at NXT. So I think this was a great breakout year, or breakout 6 months for Jordynne Grace as well. Joe Hendry more after WrestleMania, when he put his song out there and it got on the charts. That's when Joe Hendry became more of a star right there.
But it's funny to me because like
singing, you're like,
it's one of those of like Joe Hendry was kind of like that TNA like kind of homegrown guy. So I'm surprised you're not more like kind of claiming him of like, we knew he was going to be great until everybody else just found out he was great.
Well, I did say that Joe Hendry after WrestleMania, but I don't want to be totally biased because I really like Braun Breaker, and I think that's an excellent choice. Like I said, my second choice probably would have been Jordynne Grace and then Joe Hendry. But
this is one of those you could throw a dart and not hit a bad target here.
Yeah,
right. With this.
No, absolutely not. I mean, again, and I think there's other people. We've seen a few people break out. I mean, arguably Ethan Page. We were watching Javon. We're seeing some surprise names come to the forefront. So we'll see. We'll see. It's a long year. We got a few months to go. The back half, a lot can change before we do this for the year-end awards and at the end of this year.
Right.
Dun dun dun. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We will move on to the next category. One of my favorite categories. I've always been a big heel guy. As Nick knows, I can poke the bear enough to see how far I can make his head explode and be a little bit of a troublemaker. But
I'm not going to have a cardiac.
Right. The next award is for the biggest heel so far in 2024. Let's go. And the Golden KJ goes to, boom. What can you say?
The social media Scottish Warrior, 100% out here. Just, he has been it's been some of the best work of his career, has been this run in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm at the point to even not liking Drew McIntyre. Like, I'm just like screaming at my TV, like, you screwed yourself. Why are we still here? Why are you still whining like a baby each and every week? This is your fault. And that is why you're still suspended. So yeah, Drew McIntyre has made me hate him. So this is definitely the right choice.
Oh, he's been outstanding. And he was kind of dead in the water, kind of floundering. It's just like, I'm kind of mad all the time, baby face, but couldn't get a win. And, all it took was, hurting Punk at the Rumble to kind of set this man's career back in a better direction. He's been unbelievable. The storyline with Punk's been unbelievable. This is, the obvious of when you have a good heel, you get a good baby face, you get a good story people want to watch. And he's been outstanding. I think he's been the biggest heel in wrestling.
And it's also worked so well of him on social media and everything to where he'll take a little pot shot just subliminally at Punk or whatever, to where he shows up at Clash in the Castle early, and to where it's got, Punk's face crying up there on the big screen and everything. He steals the little bracelet and all of that. He's talking about empty-headed dumb fucks and everything. So he 100% has made this his run and has gotten everybody, whether you watch the weekly show, whether you just pay attention to Twitter, Drew McIntyre's. You want to cheer for him, even though you're supposed to hate him.
Oh, absolutely. I think I do want to say one thing. Why did Chris Jericho make the list?
Because he sucks.
Again, he got one or 2% of the vote.
Okay.
But he, I get. Look, it proves that we are non-biased around here. We are open to everybody. We want to see everybody do good. Somebody mentioned MJF in the chat. He was a babyface for the bulk, and then he was out for the rest of it. And
you got to realize he returned heel like a week ago.
But yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, no, for my money, as far as when you're pushing the storyline, there's nothing like Drew. Yeah, Jericho, I guess, because he's technically the most used, booked heel next to the Bucks in the company. I don't know, but he ain't
stale, outdated.
I would boycott my own award if we were going to give it to Jericho. So,
and folks, we have a mistake. We have a mistake to announce. But no, right. I'll go even saying of, like I said before, with how Punk and Drew won feud of the year so far. Of these two, this whole storyline has invoked the biggest reactions, the biggest at each other's throats, the highly contested debates on this channel has been this whole feud, mostly centered around Drew McIntyre, to be honest.
True. Absolutely. But we'd like to advance on to the next one as
we have the craziest spot coming up as the next award. And I feel like I've been, kind of pigeonholed if I've had craziest spot, holy shit moment, and biggest pop here a little bit of it just so happened to be that I'm always the one announcing the fucking holy shit, the crazy, the off the rails.
If the shoe fits,
exactly 100%. If the shoe fits, you might as well dance. If you tap dance with the devil, you might as well lead here. But 100% of we've got the craziest spots in 2024, and here are the nominees. And the winner is, he set him on fucking fire. He set him on fucking fire.
In my famous words, he has a blowtorch.
Exactly. And it's one of those, and I think it was so great I almost wish we had our reaction with this of literally the fucking, as it processed in our brains of like, oh, he looks like a fucking glazed donut out here. Why does that happen when he was supposed to dunk his head in the Coca-Cola? Darby known to have a blowtorch recently. Holy shit. What the fuck is gonna happen? They set this poor man on fire and he got the win.
Right.
Yeah. I think this was crazy. Watching the nomination list, forgetting about when he tried to unalive himself with the glass. I forgot about that, man. There was crazy spots this year, but this one I think is the best.
Is this the Darby Allin Award?
Yes.
Yeah.
We could have had Darby on this all four. He could have taken all four. There's other things we omitted that he did,
but folks, I think we have now the Darby Allin Award and the Paul Heyman Award that are official into the lineage now here.
He's insane. And I mean, for my money, yeah, it's cool that somebody went through the pod, at Elimination Chamber, seen it. Somebody went through, jumped off a ladder through chairs and glass, seen it. But when you bring a flamethrower to the party, you win. That's holy shit. You're not beating that. He's got a flamethrower.
Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing that in pro wrestling. And as even Boston says, if Perry was in a car accident, was caught on fire, and still won the fucking match.
Right? What? Darby versus the Bust could have been in here, and that wasn't even wrestling.
Right. I mean, I was literally thinking
one of my like favorite moments of like 2024 of us just watching that, because it's such organized chaos and everything. It reminds me of like last year of watching like GCW shows of like, what the fuck am I actually watching here? I'm watching people getting run over by mail trucks. I'm watching, people suspended from rafters. I'm seeing fucking flamethrowers and exploding shoes. What the fuck is going on in wrestling?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, again, it's nuts. We've seen so much. We saw that scissor spot the other day that was going around, and they're like, we got to be careful. Like, but I mean, the fact that he still won, this is holy shit. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of GCW, I think I watched my first GCW event on the channel, like
Yeah.
while y'all were reacting to it, and I'm watching it. I'm like, what is this? Like, there's glass, the lights with pipes, and then I'm like, this is insane.
And that's before the first intermission.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm hoping for a lot more of these moments. Darby's scheduled to be a blood and guts. Folks, I will take a second before the next category. Just remind everybody we are back tomorrow. SmackDown Rampage, Saturday, Collision, and Slammiversary. I know Anthony's eager and will be here live. It's going to be a crazy night. It's going to be a fun one. So make sure you're for that. We got lots coming your way. We're working. We're brewing on some stuff. And we're looking forward to bringing you guys more content. We got the members only coming up. And again, Wrestling Court will be back. If you haven't seen that yet, go check out the episodes. We just eclipsed 5.3K. We are climbing towards 6. Be a friend, tell a friend, and be a part of all the fun. I see some new names kicking around. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you want your wrestling content, this is the place to get it. So with that all being said, I think we have another award.
Our next category is Booker of the Year. If Tony Khan wins, I am tracking
Booker
everybody's IP address in the chat. But here are your nominees. And the winner is Triple H. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
The pop-up Paul era has been really kind of, it's opened the floodgates of what we all thought WWE could have, should have, would have been.
All I can say is thank the Lord that Vince McMahon is no longer doing what he was doing, because WWE was floundering. It was boring. It was predictable. It was incoherent. It was ridiculous. And what Triple H has been able to do since he's got involved, put better people in place, and everything from the people he's bringing in, working with other companies, the overall stories that we're getting. Look at what we were talking about with Drew and Wyatt, and so much going on in wrestling to be excited about. Undeniably, for me, my 100% vote here.
Ding dong, the Vince is dead. Which old Vince? The wicked Vince. Ding dong, the wicked Vince is dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no comparison here. I think there's two gentlemen running WWE very well, one in NXT and one, main roster. You got bald-headed hoe Shawn Michaels and Triple H doing great things out there. Yeah, definitely well deserved for Triple H, because I've seen even old fans come back to watch WWE because of what Triple H is doing.
Is it crazy to think that DX always used to joke about taking over WWE? Mm-hmm. And especially now with them being the Clique and everything, now they literally have taken over WWE. They book all the shows, they're the agents, it's their show, it's their company. But God damn it, if I've got to do the fucking Anchorman shit of deep down in my heart, I still respect you, goddamn it. Of like this man's cooking out here.
Yeah, and the runner-up to this award was HBK, for obvious reasons. I just think bigger, grander. I mean, Triple H and what he's been able to do. But shout out to HBK. I don't know if it's because of his eyes allow him to keep more, he can watch more pans on the stove, but he cooking undeniably right now. But yeah, and then Anthony, maybe you can help me here. Scott D'Amore was kind of the creative genius behind it. Then Tommy Dreamer and Co. I think that's fairly accurate.
Yeah, I think it's Tommy Dreamer, Gail Kim, and Anthony Ciccone. That's kind of running the show now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago.
So there you go, folks. Your 2024 Booker of the first half of the year. Yeah, I don't think anyone's got a valid argument. And if nobody's going to argue, we might as well move on to the next one, which, again, this is highly contested. And honestly, there should have been 25 nominees or 20 nominees for this category. No one's going to like it. Everyone's going to fight about it. But here are your nominees for Best Match of 2024. And the winner is Cody Roman Reigns, WrestleMania XL. And let the fighting and debating begin.
I mean, this match scratched every nostalgia itch of everybody. I know we're all of wrestling fans of a certain vintage, or even if you're not, I know Anthony's a little bit younger and everything like that, but you know everything. You know the lore, you know the backstories and everything like that. So you've got The Undertaker popping up, and you've got John Cena, and it's got a 2-year fucking build to it and everything like that. Now, granted, there is also the case that this damn near almost could have been the Osprey Award of the Year for 2024. Yeah. And I dare say, if he hasn't made his claim, almost knowing that he didn't win this award, so he had to sit there and go out and show out to make sure he won this award in the second half here of after the match last night here. But yeah, this feels like the big moment match of 2024 so far.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about the Osprey thing. And again, as far as, those people that are very keen on like work rate and such. Yeah, Osprey's been an absolute beast. I personally thought him and Takeshita tore it down. Him and Speedball, I think, is an overrated match. I think Osprey's been outstanding. But as far as the wrestling was good, the story was amazing. It was over the top epic. I know people didn't like the run-ins, but as a wrestling fan, it's all about that reaction. I don't think there was a match this year, especially doing what we do, that caused a bigger reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this match was all about the moments, all about the story behind it, and it delivered in every single way. This match was a 3-part match. If you think about it, it was the first Roman and Cody match at WrestleMania 39. It was the Bloodline versus Roman and not Roman, but Cody and Seth night 1, and then the grand finale of night 2. So yeah, I think this match did it. I think this was for everyone.
That's the biggest thing that this has as an advantage of you can talk about, like KJ said, of your work rates, your 7 stars in the Tokyo Domes and everything like that. But this had 2 years and even 2 nights just on the same weekend of a build to it and everything to make you get so behind it that it still delivered in ring and it sold you to where you had the goosebumps. All the strike a chord shit and everything. So this is going to be, honestly, I feel a hard one to beat come the end of the year even.
Mm-hmm. And I see the chat blowing up with folks. We cannot include the match that happened last night.
The cutoff was the end of June, the start of July.
Right.
Half year. So that's in the second half. It's a highly look. It will be I'll be shocked if it's not nominated at the end of the year.
Right.
If it isn't, we had a really good back half of 2024. But yes, I know everybody liked that match, or most everybody.
And we also can't count Ospreay versus Mike Bailey because that was Bound for Glory 2023. So we can't count that one. Yeah. And then I do want to touch on Josh Alexander versus Ospreay. I feel like their first match was actually better than the second one. So because I think we talked about it in the chat and I didn't even mention this match. I felt like the second one that happened in late 2023 was better.
Yeah. That's amazing. It really is amazing though that we could literally just have an Ospreay debate with the chat for an hour on what match was his best one this year.
Again, pro wrestling in 2024, it's a wealth of riches. Like that's the thing, is for everybody that wins an award, you can still make halfway a case for everybody who was close and at least nominated, and even some people that weren't and everything. That's the thing, is it's a wealth of riches right now in 2024 in wrestling. But speaking of wealth and riches and groups that stick together, thick as thieves, my guy. We've got our own little three-headed monster out here. We've got, we're growing with the Wrasslin for Life family out here, but factions have become a huge thing in 2024. They're all the trend. They're all the craze and everything, much like the Attitude Era. But we've got the, category for the best faction of the year, folks. So here are the nominees. And your winner is, and I feel like this is a little NWO and NWO Wolfpack here, but it's the Bloodline 2.0, which has been honestly kind of the story of SmackDown of 2024 here, and has had huge moments from literally no one on this, the four that we have beneath us here. No one was on this roster until we got into 2024 here. And they've all been huge pops, huge moments, huge reactions. All, I feel, also shown up internationally for the most part, or close to it. But yeah, this is taken over a large chunk of pro wrestling right now, I feel, with the Bloodline 2.0.
I wouldn't have voted for it.
I was just about to say that.
What would you have picked? What would you have picked?
I think for me, it would have been the system. And I'm not trying to be biased. I really have enjoyed it.
Just so happens everyone that you've said of, I would have gone with insert TNA person.
I only said that one time though, when I really said because I said Jordan Grace could have been the second one, but I was cool with Braun Breaker. I forgot the other one that I said I was going to be biased on. But
you've been pretty good on mentioning TNA talent.
This one I would have gave to
I dig it.
I'm there with Damian Heater with the system. Like I would have gave it to them.
Yeah, I think I was leaning more towards the Judgment Day. I think 2.0 wins this on a bit of recency bias. Because remember, they didn't really heat up, and like they took a while after WrestleMania to get going again. Jacob just showed up 3-4 weeks ago. Tama and Tongaloa were 2 months ago. So they're cooking. Don't get me wrong, and I understand why people pick them, but I mean, Judgment Day has been so prominent. Even the OG Bloodline up until WrestleMania was cooking. So again,
but is this not a little bit of it? This was passing of the torch of like it is a little cheeky of having Bloodline and Bloodline 2.0 in this because up until literally post WrestleMania, Bloodline 2.0 did not exist. So this is a little bit like more the baton race of they passed all the momentum that the Bloodline had on the 2.0. So I think that's why I think they went out here because they've got all the momentum that was already going into the Bloodline storyline that we had that paid off at WrestleMania, what have you, had Dwayne and everything still carries on. We're still out here watching this, talking about how Dwayne might be, the overarching, supervillain, the mastermind, the puppet master with this. So it still carries that heat, that momentum.
Yeah, they definitely jumped on a train that was already kind of in full speed.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that. And you're not wrong. I think for me, the Judgment Day being such a big part of Raw, Damian, multiple title defenses, Finn and JD, I think they've had they won the titles twice. They lost them and won them back. So they've had belts. Dom being one of the most booed people in all of wrestling. Now you add in their tie into the live stuff. I think they've been outstanding. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
I could agree with you with the Judgment Day, but then you also then have to forgive the Bloodline for, like I said, of everything that built into WrestleMania. Like that's almost a aforementioned or a forgotten moment here of the Bloodline was everything was The Rock, slapping Cody with the weight belt as he's busted open in the rain at Monday Night Raw and everything like that. That was part of that. But it gets wrapped into the Bloodline 2.0, so that might be why they went out here.
There you go. Look, Damien
goes. I hate Priest. I can't let him win anything.
All right. Nick just hates Priest. Yeah, that was called out. That's funny as shit.
Yeah.
No, I think there's a lot of factions. I mean, I know some people might not. Well, what about the Elite? But no, they don't count. We're moving on.
As the beat goes on, that I don't tell them.
All right, our next category is best tag team, and I feel like this was the hardest one to pick because we just didn't know who out there was actually the best tag team. So here are your nominees.
I hate this category, even though
And the winner is... Oh God.
No, can I make a case? Can I make a case here? Can I make a case as to I know this was the fan vote and everything. Can I make a case as to why they won this? Because I do kind of like them. They at least had their little WrestleMania run and everything. But can we at least admit we had the award for 2024, non-wrestling personality, what have you, non-wrestler of the year and everything like that. R-Truth could fit in almost similar to that category, but he's still an active wrestler and everything like that, because him being involved in the Judgment Day, everything like that, like this has been the kind of slowly now forgotten post WrestleMania like year of 2024 for R-Truth out here, of to where he got over like Rover. He was making friends in the Judgment Day. He was one of the highlights for that group for a fucking while here. And I know it played in this tag team, and it had its peak at WrestleMania, and that was it. But this is still a weak division. So, I mean, if I've got a horse, I've got a horse versus, a weak division here.
Well, I say nay to everything you just said.
Fair enough.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is a tough one. Tag team wrestling in 2024 has not been great. FTR has been on the shelf a lot. I mean, I think, to be honest, if I could revote this one, I might, because I think there's teams out there like ABC, maybe a couple of the independent tag teams that are doing really well, like main event, could have been acknowledged in this. Awesome Truth was built for a moment. They got their moment. There you go. Now they get a KJ. Son of a bitch.
Well, yeah, I think the greatest moment that happened with Awesome Truth was Liv Morgan conning our Truth into having a title match that night for the Judgment Day to regain it. I think that was like the highlight for me. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't even know who I would have given it to in this category. Maybe
that's why this to me is interesting, of Boston out here, of throwing the suggestion out of we no longer listen to the people.
Well,
y'all can't be held responsible, I guess, with this power to decide who wins the tag team titles.
We are a channel for fans by fans. What can we do?
Yeah, but but I think this is just a weak category more than anything. Like, this is, you could give it to DIY off of the last week or so, which I don't even think falls in the category. You give it to the Young Bucks that have killed off their whole tag division. ABC just wins it by default. What have you? You get Axiom and Frazier, honestly, doesn't seem like a bad shout with this fucking category.
Not at all. Now that you think about it, wait a minute, they've had a decent run here.
Yeah.
Right.
If I would have given it to anybody, it would have been Militia. Just for
and this is the team I think got overlooked here. Finn Balor and JD.
Yeah. You did actually talk about that. So
Shit.
Have your moment, explain your business, show your work, sir.
I just think I would have voted for them. They had the belts, they lost the belts, they got the belt back eventually. They had to give the belts up so that, we could. I wanted the R-Truth moment, so I'm not, foo-fooing it. And I was going to say what somebody in the chat just said. Spitfire would be a good one, too. Even though I call them spark plugs. Finn Balor and JD definitely have an argument here.
I think tag team wrestling as a whole in any of the three major companies right now is just terrible. And I think it's hard to debate that.
Would you think that it's interesting, and not to draw full attention to it, but that we included a women's tag team into best tag team of the year and everything, that shows, at least across the board, how weak the tag team division is? I mean, on one hand, not saying that women's tag team wrestling sucks, but it's been kind of book kind of shit. So, but I think that's also impressive that, Bianca and Jade were considered as best tag team of the year.
Second place in voting. They only lost by 5%.
If she wouldn't have slipped on that rope, they would have had that 5%.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
The one slip cost you 5% in the voting.
Way to go. All right. Well, as much as we love to talk about tag teams, let's get into another one that's going to cause some debate and be a little fun here. We've seen so many good wrestlers, so many stacked rosters, so many big moments, big matches. And for my money, this is one of the hardest categories to figure out. It's all preference. But at the end of the day, this is the award for the best male performer so far in 2024. And the award goes to Cody Rhodes.
This is respectfully one of those, I feel, awards that maybe we take, we take some of the fan vote and we still add viewer discretion as advised with this. Because, I mean, I don't know. Cody post Mania has been.
What do you mean? Like main eventing pay-per-views, winning big matches and all over the world? Cody Rhodes is the top guy in 2024 for my money. He's been, again, we will talk about Ospreay, I know, as far as what he's doing in ring, but overall professional wrestler male in 2024 for me, it has to be Cody
Rhodes. Ospreay's to me. Ospreay we're literally, when we're almost going to name the best match of the year fucking award after this guy, I think that kind of weighs heavy there.
It does.
I think for the first time in history, I might agree with Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on Ospreay right now. If I'm watching AEW for anything, is Ospreay. It's sad that I'm not even watching for the world champ Swerve. And I think Ospreay has really done an amazing job this year. I've never technically been on like the super Cody train. Like even up to the last minute of WrestleMania, I was pulling for Roman. And then after WrestleMania, for me, it hasn't been there for me with Cody Rhodes. So I probably would have given this to Ospreay. And whoever said Moose in the comments, I'm coming to slap you because I wasn't going to say Moose.
Someone specifically pointed out saying that Anthony would say it should have been Moose. And I think that's why his fans agree with me now. He's like, I can't say what they said. So.
No, I think, and again, I think Ospreay had a good start to the year. Then he was a little quiet for a while as he transitioned from one company to the other. And again, you can't deny what he does in ring. I will not take that away from him. But outside of being a guy that gives you really good matches, there's not a whole lot being given to us outside of that. He's starting to come into something with MJF, but as far as being over, as far as what they've provided overall, promos, storyline, everything they've been involved with. Cody finished the story in 2024. That's huge. He main evented WrestleMania. He main evented Backlash. He main evented what was the one before that, or the last one? Money in the Bank. And again, it's all compelling stuff. And again, Ospreay's great in the ring, but pro wrestling is more than just what I did in the ring.
Right. And well, to go and agree with your statement there and to be on your side with this of going through even our own results for the awards and everything like that, of how Mania won pay-per-view of the year, his match with Roman won, match of the year, him finishing the story won pop of the year. So this man, that whole moment right there has won multiple awards here. So he's a little bit cleaning the house here a little bit. This is a little bit, Titanic at the fucking Academy Awards here. This is Kendrick at the Grammys out here of just cleaning the house.
Yeah, and that may be where some of the poll gets a little swayed by the biggest fan base in wrestling gets a very loud voice, right? So something for us.
I mean, you can still build the loudest fan base in wrestling instead of just accepting the biggest fan base in wrestling.
Sure, absolutely. But that is our male performer of 2024. Again, you guys can get in the chat, and don't forget, you can comment after the fact. And we're down to the last couple. So what do you got?
Yeah, this is kind of, we're down to the heavy hitters out here. And honestly, I think that this division, the women's division, has been honestly the best presented and really been the dominant division in 2024 in pro wrestling across the board here. So we have the candidates for best female wrestler in 2024, and these are the nominees. And folks, this is where I'm gonna instantly out the gate here of say there was no ballot stuffing. There was no tampering with the votes here, but a one Tiffany Stratton, one female superstar of 2024 here, and I think that this is a highly contested, category here of this is, but I think that goes and that's a true testament to how women's wrestling's been presented in 2024. Of you have women's segments closing out weekly shows as big attractions and everything like that. Like the women's Money in the Bank briefcase match was probably match of that whole pay-per-view. Women's wrestling's on a huge uptick in 2024.
Tiffany is great.
Yeah.
Tiffany is great. I think I would have given it to Toni Storm. I've been up and down with Toni Storm. I think that's just me personally, more towards not really being able to watch AEW because sometimes it's just god awful. But if there's one thing that AEW might be having good right now, it's Toni Storm. And every time Toni Storm is in that ring or on that mic, Toni Storm has delivered. And I think the first 6 months of the year was all Toni Storm.
I like all of it, and I think Tiffany's had an outstanding year. Don't forget, her start to the year in NXT was hot, and I mean she gets a title. She's been on the fast track, but I think this is recency bias. I think this is a bit of she's real cooking right now. She, just got the Money in the Bank. I even think there's other women that could have been nominated that have a valid argument to this whole thing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think Tiffany was the woman of the first half, but I think she could definitely be the woman of the year come the end of the month or end of the year.
If she wasn't here, she could have also been on the Breakout, kind of award and everything like that as well. If that's the thing is, again, I think what really makes half of this, dangerous and interesting and everything of it's a wealth of riches when it comes to pro wrestling of literally 2 months go by and there's been so much cool shit that you forgot what just happened in the past 2 months, let alone the past 4 months and everything like that. It's crazy right now in pro wrestling, but yeah, maybe Tiffany's more recency bias, more of we're coming up the votes getting put out there fresh off of Money in the Bank when she won the briefcase, maybe might have played a little part into that, but I don't know.
Yeah. And like speaking to KJ's point of some of the other women too, I think Bailey has had a solid 6 months. One person that was not on the list that I really thought had a good 6 months was Nia Jax. I think she's delivered in every sense of the word delivered since January 1st. So she had that surprising good match with Becky Lynch. She had that really good main event match with Rhea Ripley at Elimination Chamber. She won the Queen of the Ring tournament. She's out here sitting on people when they trying to pull her down from the top rope, and it looked like she unalived Lyra Valkyria. I mean, Nia Jax has been doing a lot of great things over the past 6 months.
Absolutely, and I think Nick said it. The women's wrestling has been outstanding. I'm very critical of Wednesdays. I think there could be a better usage of some of the real talent that they have there that isn't being utilized. But TNA's cooking with their women. NXT is, some nights it feels like the whole show is the women's division. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really talented women coming through the ranks.
Oh, absolutely as well. Gradient says Chelsea Green was good, not gonna lie. She's good. And she was up for some awards if she's gonna be up for some awards on the back half. Not on the first half, on the second half here. And I like this though from Small Mark of honorable mention to Athena, though she never gets TV time. And that's a big problem with Ring of Honor of Athena's great, but no one pays the fuck attention because their AW just realized that, of Death Before Dishonor is coming up here soon.
Yeah, if a learning tree falls in the woods and no one hears it or sees it, did it really fall, right?
It is gone there still to snort it, but yeah.
But I mean, women's wrestling outstanding, and I mean, there's a case for Tiffany there. so I don't want to discredit her.
Oh,
She's had I like Bailey's year too. I really like what Bailey's done up to this point.
It's a great testament, though, that again, for damn near every one of these awards, we can sit there and make a case for everyone who didn't win it, and even people who weren't even in nomination of, because we can't have 75 people nominated for an award.
Right.
All
right, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the final award of the night.
And the final award, the final category is Best Promotion. And I think a lot of the promotions delivered this year. Some may be under-delivered, but here we are with the nominees for Best Promotion. And the winner is WWE.
Was this debatable? Was this contestable? Was this a landslide? Of all due respect to the other promotions and everything, I feel like they're just cooking with a different level of they're cooking with nitrous oxide out here. They're Dom in the first Fast and the Furious movie out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think WWE has been the most consistent this year from January 1st all the way to June 30th. I think they've been the most consistent. If I had to fight for TNA didn't really pick up steam until around Rebellion, because they lost a lot of steam when the Scott D'Amore firing happened, and some people actually walked away from watching it, but I think they kind of tried to turn it around at Rebellion, and they have, and it's been great since then. But yeah, WWE has been the most consistent out of anything.
Yeah, undeniable. And I mean, again, it's based on analytics, it's based on overall response, it's based on the quality of the product. I think consistency is king, and I think that's what you said, Anthony. From every week we're getting something. Whether it's Bo Dallas or the Wyatts or Chad Gable's beating up Otis, or the Rock shows up, or not, like you said, Nia Jax is on a tear. There's just so much going on, and it's on such a higher level. I mean, it's almost an unfair award. I mean, I hope somebody can knock them off their perch, but it's their year so far. They're on fucking fire.
See, I like this on twofold. I like that WWE's here because you've got the most assets. You're the top guys. You should be here. It's one of those, that type of things of you've got all the advantages. You should win this. And I like that there's other people that are out there that are going to hold your feet to the fire. There is, as much as we may curtail TNA, AW, they are what keeps WWE on its toes a little bit. Granted, now it is a little, CFL, UFL, NFL, a little bit with this, but yeah.
It's just crazy if we didn't have that big turn of events earlier this year with WWE and VKM. Would we be in this position right now? Because I don't think WWE would be in this winning position right now.
Yeah, I never thought it would be a good thing. Like Vince, taking on more charges than a Matador. I mean, I never thought that something like this would be the benefit of all wrestling fans out there. And again, I think that's when we look across the board and you look at everything that we're getting from all the companies, it's outstanding in a lot of ways. But the fact that Triple H has come in and made this feel so different to the point where wrestlers want to come back. Wrestlers who would never consider this company are now considering it. Again, a little bit of an unfair fight, but like you said, they should be in this spot.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I popped when you said Matador, but
Hey.
for whatever reason it did with me. But yeah, no,
That's
C.
it.
Montgomery Burns is done with this. And even Smithers there, Kevin Dunn's been thrown out 2 out of the fucking building here. So I think that goes, I guess, the overarching thing. I think that's pretty crazy in pro wrestling for 2024. Of there's no longer a McMahon in charge of WWE. Of now we've got Paul Levesque going at Tony Khan, going on Anthem and Entertainment Incorporated, formerly known as Scott D'Amore. But yeah, it's a crazy fucking time to be a wrestling fan.
Absolutely. And a good shout out to all the companies. We love watching all of them and we want them all to do well. This doesn't mean, tribalists out there, that we hate AEW or we don't like it, but they didn't win the vote. So I'm sorry.
As I say, y'all voted on it. So if you want them to win next time, then you go and vote. Go to the ballots, motherfucker.
Right.
With all that being said, that is all the awards. As we've all said tonight, the first half of this year has been insane. Feels like every day something that makes you scratch your head is happening. We didn't even talk about like the Jinder Mahal stories and the random offshoot stories that we never saw coming. Ash by Elegance. Like there's been so much insanity. So much insanity this year. And we are looking forward to covering all of it all the way through to the end. It's going to be a fun 2024 SummerSlam, All In, Slammiversary, which is this weekend. Any final thoughts on the awards, gentlemen?
To the roof gives out, to the lights go out. Shut my mouth.
The musical interlude.
No, I think it was.
It's just. I think as crazy as the first half of 2024 has been, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're in for fucking way crazier here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I enjoyed all the winners tonight. I think they all did great in their own right. I'm with Nick, like the next 6 months is going to be crazy. My mindset is us sitting here June 2025, July 2025, talking about the first 6 months of Raw being on Netflix and how that could be crazy of what we see next year. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think the majority of the right people won.
The majority. I agree with the majority.
Full throttle on Netflix here. No, I do want to have, C Money, thank you for Wrestling for Life wins the award for best watch along of all time. Touche Tabernacle. I don't know if we can always give ourselves an award, but I also like this one as well. For Life Award for Streaming Channel of the Year. The WWE even recognized the Wrestling for Life channel. So absolutely. So we're out here potentially influencing things. You never know.
Right? That was our holy shit moment of the year. Is that us?
Yeah, that's gonna fucking one. God damn it. I'm giving us a self fucking golden KJ for that moment, for the holy shit moment of the halfway year of we had that happen. We're at 5.3, whatever the fuck number at this point. K subscribers and everything like that. Big things popping, little things stopping up to something. Season never sleeps. But we just killing the game, my guy.
Anthony.
Yeah, we're killing it out here. Again, love to be a part of this channel. I told Nick a couple of weeks ago when we did the stream that like this is the best place to be, and this is where I feel most at home with wrestling content. So yeah, Wrestling for Life is the place to be. And like Nick and KJ say, we do the most wrestling watch-alongs of anybody out there.
But that's it, ladies and gentlemen, and the gentlemen on the screen. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for enjoying the awards. Thank you for enjoying all the watch-alongs. Back at it tomorrow. Don't miss out. And we got so much more coming your way, folks. We're working hard at it. And be a friend, tell a friend.
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about that wrestling, you're able to put that full life with it.
See you on the flip side. We got SmackDown tomorrow.